YouTube, what's going on? I'm back. Wednesday night. Just did a base swap on this. So frustrating. It's a really nice little casting, and there's just something so off about the base and the stance. See, this one looks good. This doesn't have the lowered base. I think this one looks good. Probably does sit a little high, but not too bad. Doesn't look nearly as goofy, though, to me. But I did switch out the base on this one to get these light colored tires on it, because I think it looks a lot better. This one's sharp. It's black. It's like a gloss black, red interior. This one is sharp. Camera doesn't do it much justice. I think in person this is probably the nicest looking one. Looks very, very good. Can always tell a good die-cast car when there's no bad angle of the car. I don't know if I'd say this is a bad angle. And the color kind of makes it hard to tell, but here's the comparison. One of the sweetest cars in my entire collection right here. This thing is kind of incredible, I guess. No bad angle of this one. Anyway, so with that said, was going to make this Toyota exclusive video, but why not show a couple of Nissans? Alright, in no particular order. I know we've seen all these, but I wanted to take them out and take another close look at these cars. This is a Tomica Limited Vintage Toyota Celica. I think this is a 4th generation. All of these cars that I'm going to show you tonight here do have prototypical wheels and rubber tires. There's a 1st generation Celica. This is the car that broke Toyota into North America, or at least into the US. For Nissan, it was the 240Z. And for Toyota, it was the Toyota Celica. The first Japanese car that was really built for the American superhighway. And this one here, Tomica Limited Vintage, never did this one. In fact, I don't know anybody that did other than Konami, which is this one, and then Aoshima did a really souped up version of it. I forget what it's called, or even how to pronounce it, but Gretchen or something. I don't know. But anyways, this one's awesome. I dig this one a lot. All of these cars are favorites of mine, so cars that will never leave the collection. I do somewhere here, right here, have a 2nd generation Toyota Celica. I think this is a 2nd gen. From a 1 to 64 scale standpoint, this is my favorite Celica. Probably a combination of the fit and finish and the build quality. more so than just the body style of the car. I just think Konami did a fantastic job on this car. These prototypical wheels, just the grille, the headlights look amazing. The wheels on this thing look really good. Those are OEM. Another thing about this car, the greenhouse on this car, it has some kind of weird lines to it. The way that it kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but almost kind of like curves inward from the body of the car. It's kind of a unique looking greenhouse, but totally dig this car. Transparent lens taillights and indicators. Got the Toyota badge. Celica GT. I guess the next one would be this one here. This is not a stock model. This is definitely a custom. And this, so the first red one was Tomica Limited Vintage. The second red one was Konami. That last silver one is Konami. This one here is Kyosho. They did a stock version of this, a couple of them actually. Excuse me. They are they're kind of hard to find, but they're expensive. You can definitely find them on eBay, but I think they're like $30 to $40, maybe more in some cases. And actually, this one might actually be up in that range too. But I think this one's a little bit less. The Mechanical Doctor 6-car set from Kyosho was a really, really nice set. They had a little Toyota, I think it was like a S800, which I have that one. And they had a Kenmary Skyline. They had this. They had a Toyota 2000 GT. They had a 240 Fairlady Z. And then the Honda CRX. So some pretty desirable castings in that 6-car set, which is based off of, I think it's a cartoon, Mechanical Doctor. But this one here, I didn't keep the Toyota because I have the Konami, which I think is pretty much as nice as the Kyosho. But this is just a sharp looking car. I love the wheels on it. Very, very JDM. Really nice stance on that car too. Now the last two are definitely more modern. With this one here, I think this is like a 1985 or 1986. This is a Konami release, cars of the 80s. They did a 300Z. They did a C210 Skyline. They did a Mazda MX-5, or otherwise known as the Miata. They did a Honda Civic hatchback and the Celica, and I'm pretty sure they did some others that I'm missing. But the cars of the 80s from Konami seem to be harder to find than all the older, more vintage stuff. But this is a great looking Celica. I like all of these actually. You know, I'm a Toyota enthusiast, and all of these cars are, I think, pretty awesome, pretty fun to collect. The last one here, I think this would be an 89 or a 90. This is also from the cars of the 80s from Konami. I like this one quite a bit too. I think this is the one that Tomica did in the premium. Which I'm not a big fan of the Tomica premium. They're nice, but they're not true to scale. They have plastic tires, but they are very nicely detailed. Like that silver Toyota Supra that I have, that I showed in one of last week's videos, is a Tomica premium. But I prefer the limited vintage. They do, the limited vintage is a lot more older vintage Japanese stuff, whereas the Tomica premium is more modern stuff. But they seem to be adding more modern stuff to the TLV, like that EK9 Civic. They announced just today that they're doing a what is it? First, second, they're doing a third generation Mazda RX-7 that comes out, I think, in September or October. So I'll be getting that one for sure. It's going to be out in silver, yellow, and red. And I'm just trying to decide if I want the silver one or the yellow one. I'm not big on red in this scale with premium diecast, or any diecast really, because, well, here's a perfect example of it. They look good, they look nice, but with red taillights and a red car, this size, I think it hides a lot of the detail. And then even this one here kind of fits into that. Although this one has the chrome trim, which does help kind of distinguish all the taillight details. Check out the back of that. That is rad. So this car, my opinion about this car, I don't know if it's ever been talked about or confirmed, but when you look at when this car came out, and you look at the fact that Toyota was really trying to break into the United States market, I think there's a massive Mustang influence on this car. But it's an awesome little car. I like it. Look at that. These Konamis, most of them have suspension, so kind of get an idea of what it would look like if it was slammed. In this case, it would look awesome. I mean, in most cases, it would look awesome. Here's the silver one. Would look really good. The cars of the 80s don't feature that suspension. Kyosho doesn't have that suspension either. Tomica Limited Vintage does, though. That would look good. What else did I bring out? Here's one. I have no idea who makes this car. I think it might be like a dealership promotional car from the Asian market. But from one of the Asian markets. Because this car is not available in the United States. The Toyota AE86. Or it might just actually be known as the Toyota 86. It is available here in the United States, but it's only available as the Scion FRS and the Toyota, or the Subaru BRZ. But whoever did this, it looks kind of like Kyosho, but it's definitely not Kyosho. But whoever put this little car out did a really nice job. It has some fantastic detail with the transparent headlights and taillights, actually. Car has great lines to it. Kyosho does have a couple of different toolings for this car. Some really nice toolings as well. But this one's really nice. I like it. Definitely worthy of my Toyota collection. Every angle is a good angle. Really nice stance. Super highly detailed. Very super clear glass. All the weather stripping around all the windows. Side view mirrors, which are actually reflective mirrors. They're not just painted. Got that two pipes coming out the back. That's just a sick car right there. And what else? What else did I bring out? Here's the Konami Toyota 2000 GT I was talking about. I don't think the Kyosho is a whole lot nicer than this one, if it's nicer at all. I think they're very, very close. But I do like the fact that with the Konami you do get suspension. The tires on Konami are softer rubber. So, I don't know. I guess it's 6 and 6 one, half dozen in the other. They're both really nice. You can't go wrong either way. Almost has a Jaguar look to it. All of these cars that I've shown you tonight, with the possible exception of this, are all available in different colors as well. But I have the colors that you're seeing tonight because those are what was available to me. This one here, I have this color because I bought this off eBay. It was so cheap. I bought it like 4 months ago. Maybe 5 or 6 months ago now. It's the most expensive Konami in my collection. It's probably more expensive than any of the Kyosho cars that I have as well. And this one was only available in 2 colors, and this is the one I got simply because of how cheap it was. I got this car for $30 shipped, which is a crazy low price for this car. Although I've looked lately, and I think there's another one on there that's in the 30s as well. Usually this car sells closer to the $70 to $80 price range. And the other color that it's available in is red. But based on the amount of red Toyotas that I have, I'm actually pretty happy that the one that was so cheap was the green one. Because honestly, if they were asking $40 or more, I wouldn't have purchased it that night. But when I scrolled past it and I saw the price, I jumped on it. If you're wondering what kind of car this is, it's a Toyota Starlet. It's probably the most sought after Konami casting, as well as the most expensive, as well as the hardest to find. So that's a combination for an expensive car. Anyways, I think that's all of them as far as cars that I pulled out to look at. But of all of these, as much as I love Toyota, as much as I am a Toyota enthusiast, this one here is still my favorite of all of these cars. This car quite possibly could be my favorite car in my entire collection. If I had to pick 5 of my favorites, I might actually do that for a video. It would just be so hard to choose, though. So many good ones. But this one here just almost looks real. Which, you know, that's kind of what Tomica Limited Vintage, that's what they go for. They want their cars to look real. But you pay for it. They're not cheap. And this one is a perfect example of that. Not a cheap car, if you can even find it. It does show up on eBay probably once or twice a month. So anyways, with that being said, quick little brought this out for some Instagram pictures. Found that at an antique mall. I have no idea what year it came off of. If any of you know what year or what generation Celica this came off of, please comment below. I tried researching it a little bit, but I couldn't find anything, and I didn't want to spend too much time on it. So anyways, it was fun looking at these ones tonight for sure. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well. Which one is your favorite? Comment below. And I will holler at the next video. You guys have a good Thursday.